Welcome to the Health and Wellness Hour with Dr. Joel Wallach and pharmacist Keith Abell. They believe when it comes to nutrition and supplementation, the modern medical system has failed you, that our body is divinely designed to repair itself given the correct foundation of nutrients. With a combined 85 years experience in health, nutrition, and supplementation, they bring a unique perspective on how to manage disease and improve one's health. Over the next hour, Dr. Wallach and pharmacist Keith will discuss health and wellness topics seen in the news. They'll discuss trends in nutrition and supplementation and how you can take control of your own health and your future. Let's get on with the show. All the food and dietary supplements that we mention on this program are intended to contribute to the daily diet and overall health. They're not intended for the use in the prevention, treatment, mitigation, or cure of a disease or health-related condition. Individuals who have or suspect that they have an illness or who wish to commence a diet or exercise program should be consulting with an appropriately licensed healthcare practitioner for their medical health history evaluation, diagnosis, treatment, and health recommendations.
So we got this program recorded, and we're going to be back now every week at this time. It's a new time. I have changed jobs. As you know, I am a practicing pharmacist. I've been a pharmacist now since 1995. Since 2012, I've been in long-term care practice, working with nursing homes and folks that are in the, patients that are in the nursing homes. Recently had to, because the company that I worked for was owned by CVS, they decided to cut staffing. I was among those across the country who lost the jobs in the staffing cut and have returned to community pharmacy. And Dr. Wallach, I tell you what, it has been an eye-opener being back in community pharmacy now. I've worked in probably 15 different locations now, all the way to the mountains of Eastern Kentucky. And just one of the things I've noticed is since I've been away from community practice is people have gotten a lot sicker, Dr. Wallach. I'm now seeing, it used to be that you would see senior citizens that have multiple drugs that they're on, for treating all the different metabolic syndrome conditions and everything else. Now I'm seeing folks in their 30s that are on multiple prescription drugs, treating conditions that we used to not get until, we were in our 60s. I'm seeing people that are younger now that have arthritis and diabetes and heart disease, and they're just on all these medications. And it's something that concerns me, Dr. Wallach, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get back on here and start doing this again. And I think we need to go all the way back to the basics of what's going on here. And I'm going to let Dr. Wallach expand on it. But Dr. Wallach and I both believe that our bodies were divinely designed, that if you give them all the nutrients that they need, the body knows what to do to repair itself and to prevent disease. And I think this is what's at the root cause of everything we're seeing now. I mean, it's in the news constantly about all the different diseases. There's all these different drugs being advertised on TV and the radio now, and they all have these massive side effect profiles that they warn you about with the real fast-talking lawyers in the commercials. And it's because our bodies are not suffering from a deficiency of pharmaceuticals. Our bodies are actually suffering from a deficiency of nutrition. And that's what attracted me to Dr. Wallach a long time ago. Somebody stuck this little cassette tape in my backpack when I was in my last year of pharmacy school. They didn't put their name on it or anything, which was a big mistake on their part, because had they had their name and phone number on there, I would have contacted them immediately after listening to this. But this crazy doctor that was on this cassette was saying things completely different from what my professors were saying in school. And some of the things he was saying on there were questions I had asked my professors during pharmacy school. Like, we were studying about the blood pressure medication. And my question is, to the professor is, why aren't we teaching people how not to have high blood pressure? Why aren't we teaching them what they need to be doing diet-wise and supplement-wise not to have the high blood pressure? And their answer was, because folks don't want to know. All they want to know is take a pill to solve a problem. And that has now escalated to the point where people are spending hundreds of dollars on prescription drugs every single month. So Dr. Wallach, I'm going to let you take it away.
Okay, well, thank you, Pharmacist Keith. And of course, you're quite correct. I'm going to go back to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street in New York City in the bluff overlooking the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge. Thomas Edison pulled the switch in the first commercial electric generating plant. And within 18 years, by 1900, there was a world catastrophe because prior to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, wood and coal had been the fuel for cooking and heating, going back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And the byproduct of using wood and coal for fuel were ashes. These wood ashes and coal ashes were 98% minerals and 2 or 3% carbon. And people would put these ashes, the wood ashes, the coal ashes, into their gardens, and the vegetables would suck up the minerals, and people would eat those vegetables and get their minerals. People would put these wood ashes and coal ashes into their food as a spice. They're getting minerals that way. Well, by 1900, most everybody had an electric stove. They had electric heaters, and they had electric bulbs and all this kind of stuff. And very few people had coal. They didn't even have fireplaces in their house anymore to burn wood. And so this was a problem. By 1936, the U.S. Senate came out with a document, U.S. Senate document 264, and they said that the U.S. farm soil no longer has sufficient minerals in it to support human life. It was 1936, U.S. Senate document 264. Well, this is very clear what the problem is. And of course, in the animal industry, since we don't have health insurance to pay for high cost of treatments and prescriptions, that kind of stuff, the farmers learned through the departments of agriculture at the universities how to prevent reverse diseases. And so I started looking at this sort of stuff. And to make a long story short, let's see here. I was working with Marlin Perkins, the old Mutual Mahawal Kingdom show. And when I graduated veterinary school, he sent me to South Africa to work on the white rhino conservation project. I was able to work on that and actually catch 200 out of the 350 that were left in South Africa. And my first my first book was Rhino Express. It described that thing. And of course, just before I went to go to South Africa, I was working my way through veterinary school, and I was working in the pathology department. And it was Christmas 1963. All the professors were off for holiday. I was there as a student, and this farmer comes and he drops off 50 dead lambs with me. The night before, he had 500 beautiful lambs, 6 months old, 2.5, 3 inches of wool, and they're ready to go to market after the Christmas holidays. And he went to feed them that morning, and they're all dead. They all died at night, and the temperature had dropped from 40 or 45 degrees, which is not unusual for mid-December in Missouri. And all the sheep died of hypothermia. I wrote up the paper, got it published in veterinary journals. That was my first scientific publication. While I was in Africa working on the conservation project, Perkins took that paper and got a $25 million grant with Barry Commoner from the University of Missouri, a Department of Biology. They called me back from Africa. And of course, I had caught 200 white rhino, and back then it was only 350 left. Now there's 21,000. So I'm very proud of that. And to make a long story short, the grant they got with my paper on the 500 dying from hypothermia was $25 million. And I was supposed to find a species of animals in the zoos that we use as the equivalent of the old coal miners using canaries in the mine. Okay, when the gases would get in the mine, the canary would drop off the perch and die, and the coal miners knew to get out to save their lives. Well, the idea was to use, because of these sheep dying from hypothermia, because they were getting contaminated with nitrate fertilizer from all the surrounding farms. And when the temperature dropped, their thyroids were dead. After 6 months of being on this high nitrate drinking water, their thyroids were dead, and they couldn't maintain their body temperature, died of hypothermia. Got it published, and very excited about that. Well, to make a long story short, it turns out that U.S. Senate Document 264, as I said, 1936, tells the story. This just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And so when I became a naturopathic doctor, okay, I had already found the cause, prevention, and cure of cystic fibrosis, supposed to be the iconic genetic birth defect in humans. And I found it in a baby monkey that was supposed to go to space for NASA. And I got permission to do biopsies in the other 24 baby monkeys in the facility, Yerkes Primate Center at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. And they all had cystic fibrosis. So I knew they weren't related to each other than they were monkeys. They didn't have the same moms or dads or grandmoms or grandparents or anything like that. And so it had to be an environmental thing. I traced it back to a deficiency of a single mineral. And to make a long story short, some years later, I was working with our attorney, Jonathan Emord, and we beat the FDA 9 times in federal court and got these minerals put into baby formulas. To make a long story short, within 90 days, after we got it put into baby formulas, we were able to get rid of cystic fibrosis, the birth defect. We were able to get rid of muscular dystrophy, thought to be a genetic disease by medical doctors, and then gave it to, let's see here, gave it to Jerry Lewis, and he was excited about it. They fired Jerry Lewis and shut down the telethon. And then we were able to get rid of sudden death syndrome, SID, supposed to be the mothers laying on the babies and suffocating them. So you don't hear about those 3 diseases anymore. Okay, cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, and sudden death syndrome, SIDS, they're all gone because we forced them to put this nutrient into baby formulas, and it worked. Very, very proud of that. Now, the same thing is true for the rest of us. We have all these diseases that are caused by nutritional deficiencies. And because we don't have access to these nutrients anymore, the wood ashes are gone, the coal ashes are gone. And doctors say, oh, just eat well, you get everything you need. You don't need to take vitamins and minerals, you're just wasting your money, just eat well, you get everything you need. That's absolutely a lie. And so at that time, I started writing up articles and so forth. And I was getting obituaries from medical journals. I was getting obituaries from medical journals of medical doctors, and they're dying at 35 while they're running a marathon. They died at 35 of a heart attack, okay, and that kind of stuff. And so I started getting these obituaries of these doctors dying of all these different diseases that they're saying are genetic. And these doctors are dying by the hundreds every year in America. And so I was getting their obituaries from the medical journals, and I'm handing copies of these obituaries out to people at big meetings of nutritional companies or people like various organizations that supported people's wanting to use vitamins and minerals. Okay. And so it was very, very interesting. And so one of these places, I was handing out these obituaries, and this guy was very, what should I say? He was very irate. And he was a doctor. He says, what are you doing handing out obituaries at doctors at meetings like this? This is awful. You can't do that. I said, well, because dead doctors don't lie. And that turned out to be my first best-selling book. This is the hard copy. Okay, that was the original printing, a hard copy. And of course, it's in 9 languages in CDs. Very, very proud of that. And so it goes into many of the diseases the doctors had 120 degrees wrong. 120 degrees wrong, okay? They were missing it by 1,000 miles. They were saying, oh, this is genetic, okay? Like high blood pressure, nope, simple nutritional deficiency. Diabetes, genetic, no, simple nutritional deficiency. Heart attacks, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, heart disease. 500 to 1,000 young athletes die every year. Okay, these are high-end athletes, okay? And they die at 25, between 18 and 25 from hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart disease, a deficiency of a single mineral. And so that's why I was handing out the obituaries of doctors, okay? And of course, I'm a physician myself, but I've been taking the 90 essential nutrients since I was 9 years old because I did have Tourette's syndrome. It turns out, I believe my Tourette's syndrome was caused by the consumption of 2 things. One was, I grew up on a farm, a beef farm, and we had gardens, and we were, fertilizing was the standard fertilizer in our gardens at that point. And are you hearing me, Pharmacist Keith? Pharmacist Keith. Uh-oh. Are we on the air? Hello, hello.
We hear you, Dr. Wallach.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's something on the screen there, and I didn't believe I was still on. Okay, okay. So, at any rate, it's one of those things where um, the population has to take these vitamins and minerals to make up the deficit. Okay, and including you got to get rid of the bad foods to stop absorption. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats have gluten in them, and they destroy your intestines, and you get things like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, celiac disease, diverticulitis, metabolic syndrome, central nervous system demyelinization. 25% of your brain weight is cholesterol. 25% of your spinal cord weight is cholesterol. And doctors want you to get off of cholesterol because they mistakenly believe the cholesterol plugs your arteries. No, it's fried foods and cooking oils. Okay, then there's Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease. Then there's, let's see here, MS, multiple sclerosis, Guillain-Barré syndrome, those kind of things. These are all due to the white matter of the brain going away, okay, the demyelinization. And it's caused by two things. Number one, again, eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and then also eating buckwheat. People would eat buckwheat as pancakes. They'd eat buckwheat as noodles. They would eat buckwheat as kind of a porridge, okay? And even had buckwheat bread and stuff like that. And buckwheat has a substance in it, called phagopyrea, okay? Or pyrin, so not pyrea, pyrin, phagopyrin. And it actually causes terrible sensitivity of your skin. You get all red and scaly and everything. And you get a disease, very common, called lupus erythematosus. Lupus is caused by eating buckwheat, okay? But it also destroys your liver, your intestines, your brain, all that kind of stuff. And it's a mess. Well, if you're eating buckwheat for breakfast and snacks, and you're eating gluten with every meal, wheat, barley, rye, and oats with every meal, you're in trouble. And I've been looking in Asia, and there are certain areas of Asia where they eat a lot of wheat and a lot of buckwheat, and they have lupus at very high rates. The parts of Asia, whether it's Japan or China or Korea, that live on rice and potatoes, they don't have lupus, okay? They don't have all these problems. They don't have psoriasis. They don't have Alzheimer's disease. They don't have Parkinson's disease because they're eating eggs where they're getting their cholesterol to maintain their brain and their spinal cord and all that kind of stuff. They're not getting MS. But once they start eating buckwheat and wheat, they can't absorb it even if they're eating it. And so that's the problem. And so this is why we have a problem now. And of course, again, I came up with the title, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, for my first major book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, because I was handing out obituaries of doctors at all my meetings. And this doctor said, "Why are you doing that? That's really wrong." I said, "Because only dead doctors don't lie." And that's where I got the title for the book. And I'm going to turn my phone off here. There's too many people trying to get a hold of me. I'll turn that off.
You're a popular man, Dr. Wallach.
Okay, now my phone's off. You won't hear any more zooms and beams and all that kind of stuff. But at any rate, that's sort of the background here. Simple stuff. And, you know, I'm seeing now families where they have 3 boys, okay, 12, 7, and 3. They have all the equipment between their legs as a boy. You know, they have all the male parts, but their chromosomes are XX. Okay, this is a gender problem. This is going on in America right now. This is not a choice. This is happening because people are just eating well, quote unquote, not taking vitamins and minerals. So the body doesn't have what it needs to perform correctly. And this is why we're having all these problems, okay? So with that, I think it sort of lays the groundwork to answer some questions. Of course, my thesis from those 20,000 autopsies I did on that the big process, it's in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure, and it sells for $25,000 each. Okay, and so we came out with a summary of that. Epigenetics, the death of the genetic 3 disease transmission. These sell for $25. Everybody should get this. Okay,
Right.
This is the equivalent of my thesis, which is in the Smithsonian Institute, sells for $25,000 each. These sell for $25 each. Okay. Every family should have this. Every family should have this one. Okay. And then more recently, every family should have this one. Okay. There's 37 different diseases you get from osteoporosis of the skull. There's 37 different diseases you get from osteoporosis of the skull. When the skull squeezes the cranial nerve number 1, you get the loss of the sense of smell. Your cranium, when you get osteoporosis, squeezes cranial nerve number 2, you get optic nerve atrophy, and you slowly go blind. Then cranial nerve number 3 gets squeezed, you get ptosis, your pupil cannot respond to light. Cranial nerve number 4 gets squeezed, you get double vision, and let's see here, palsy. Trigeminal nerve number 5 gets squeezed, you get trigeminal neuralgia, terrible pain in the face and cheek and around your eyes. Cranial nerve number 6 gets squeezed, you get double vision and strabismus. Cranial nerve number 7 gets squeezed, you get Bell's palsy, and your face droops. Tinnitus and deafness occurs when you get cranial nerve number 8 being squeezed. You get dizziness, vertigo, cranial nerve number 8. Cranial nerve number 9 gets squeezed, you get loss of gag reflex, swallowing, and your voice changes. Cranial nerve number 10 gets squeezed, you get gastroparesis. It's a very serious pain of your belly and stomach and so forth. And you get AFib, atrial fibrillation, and your doctor thinks you have a heart problem. The atrial fibrillation is your skull squeezing cranial nerve number 10. It's actually osteoporosis of the skull. It's not a heart problem. Don't let them do an ablation treatment on you. That has the highest rate of deaths of any medical treatment. Cranial nerve number 11, loss of the trapezius thing, and you can't raise your arms above your head when you do that. Cranial nerve number 12, atrophy of the tongue, speech, gag reflex. And so if you have the squeezing of cranial nerve number 12 and 9, you can't communicate. And then the spinal cord, there's 17 different diseases you get when you have the skull squeezing the spinal cord. The skull squeezes the spinal cord is made in the brain, comes out of the back of the skull. When it squeezes the spinal cord, you have all these different diseases going on. The doctors want to give you a double hip replacement, double knee replacement. They'll amputate your leg and give you artificial legs and limbs and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. They'll cut your arm off and give you artificial limbs when you have osteoporosis of the skull. And so I'm alerting people to this so you can make educated decisions. So when a doctor says, I need to cut your leg off, give me a try for 90 days before you let them cut your leg off. Give me 90 days before you let them do an ablation treatment on you because you have atrial fibrillation. Give me 90 days, okay? When you have optic nerve atrophy and you want to be doing, or the doctors want to be doing nerve surgeries and all this kind of stuff on your eye. No, give me 90 days first before you start doing those kind of things. And we will eliminate most of the terrible products or side effects of all those terrible medical treatments. Unnecessary. Back over to you, Pharmacist.
Unnecessary. Absolutely right. Unnecessary. I mean, folks, I want you to think about this. You know, we've all seen pictures of what a spinal cord looks like. It's basically these little discs stacked one on top of the other. And in between the little discs, there's this rubbery substance, which is the cushion that cushions the discs. Well, where that rubbery substance is where your nerves come out. You know, they can't come out through the bone. They come out through the gaps in between. So as that rubbery substance starts deteriorating and you start having not bone loss, but loss of that, it starts pinching those nerves. And depending on where the most of that substance has disappeared from is where you're going to have the symptoms. So if it's in your neck that's degenerative the most, then you're going to have those symptoms that Dr. Wallach just mentioned, right, Dr. Wallach?
That's correct. You got it exactly right.
Okay, so if it's in your lower back, you're going to have symptoms down your leg. So it just depends on which nerve is getting pinched there. And that's the whole thing here. Dr. Wallach, I want to tell you a story about somebody I came across in the retail store the other day. This lady's in her 30s. She's been having issues that the doctors can't explain, but at certain points, for no reason whatsoever, her heart just goes nuts. You know, it races, it slows down, it goes nuts. Her heart goes nuts. It races, it slows down, it fluctuates all over the place, but it's only at certain points. And so they had to wear a heart monitor to try to figure out what's going on. And they've been dealing with this for weeks now, trying to figure out why this 30-year-old woman is having these heart issues, but doesn't have high blood pressure. I'm sorry?
They need to be working up here.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to her story. She's going on for about 20 minutes describing everything she's been through and all the tests she's had and all that. And finally I said, do you have any back issues? She goes, well, yeah. I said, well, here's what I want you to do. Every time your heart starts having one of these episodes, note what position you were in for your body. Because I guarantee you what's happening is your body's getting into a certain position and it's pinching that nerve that's leading to the heart that regulates the heart rate of the heart. And that's what's causing your heart to go nuts. And no doctor has ever asked that. Not a single doctor. Not a single doctor has looked at her spinal cord to figure out there's an issue there.
Well, doctors have never heard of this, Pharmacist Keith. I'm the first one to connect everything. I'm the first one to connect everything.
It sounds too close to chiropractic, and they think chiropractic is a quackery science, so they completely ignore the back as being an issue because they don't want to be accused of supporting chiropractic.
To release the pressure on the nerves, you can get rid of symptoms, but it'll gradually
get worse. Exactly. But
you have to add the nutrition.
They're so protective of their space that they don't even want to consider that, because then that supports the theories that chiropractors have of relieving the joint pain. But Dr. Wallach, as this cassette tape taught me decades ago, Dr. Wallach takes this approach that a veterinarian takes. We can't afford to put health insurance on the animals. The food would just cost astronomical if we had health insurance. I mean, heck, my health insurance now, I've got a $6,000 deductible, and I'm paying more for my health insurance than I did 10 years ago. So, you can't treat animals with modern medicine. You can't have a chiropractor go out there and manipulate the spinal cord of the cow. You just can't do that. So veterinarians have had to take the.
I want to jump in here because when I became an naturopathic doctor, and I started going to human meetings and stuff and introducing myself and saying, "Come to me if you have a problem." My sort of message was, now remember, I'm going to treat you like a dog, but you're going to get better. That was my message. I'm going to treat you like a dog, but you're going to get better. And they would all laugh and slap their knee and all that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you the truth. When I had Tourette syndrome, 20 doctors couldn't figure out what my problem was. Over a period of 5 years, 20 doctors. And these were very, very high-end university pediatricians, university psychiatrists, all this kind of stuff, had Tourette syndrome. And when they're going to put me in an institution for life, I didn't want to go there. So I made the decision. My mom and dad are packing up my clothes on a Friday night. I'm sitting on the end of the bed. They're going to take me to this institution on Monday. I'm thinking, well, why is it the animals on the farm don't have the same problem I have? And I'm saying, well, they're totally eating differently than me. So the next morning, on Saturday morning, I threw the Cheerios and the Wheaties out to the chickens, and I got just a whole bunch of different pellets and alfalfa pellets that had vitamins and minerals added to them, put them in my cereal bowl, added milk to them, and I ate them. I did it again on Saturday morning. I did it again on Sunday morning. I did it on Monday morning. By Monday afternoon, by 3 o'clock, I was cured of all my diseases I'd had for 6 years, and 20 doctors couldn't have figured out, simply because I started taking vitamins and minerals. When I was 9 years old, I knew the doctors were severely deficient in knowledge in these things. And that's when I started learning. Got the Merck manual, which we had on the farm, and started reading on nutritional deficiencies and stuff like that. And it's one of those things where it just all made sense to me. It all came to pass that I was correct when I was 9 years old, and 20 medical doctors couldn't figure it out.
I want to make a suggestion to folks. I mean, this cassette tape changed my life. I want to make a suggestion to folks that if you've got family members that have, medical conditions or complaints that they're always complaining about, their big toe always hurts, whatever the complaint is, I suggest you go out and you buy this set here, The Truth About Nutrition. This is a modern version of the Dead Doctors Don't Lie. I mean, it's very sleekly done. Is that the word I'm trying to find here? It's the DVD and the video is done very high quality, and it's something that I think appealed to people in this modern age. I think it'll appeal to them a lot more than even the original Dead Doctors Don't Lie. So I encourage everybody to go.
The original Dead Doctors Don't Lie is in 9 languages. So if you want to give it to somebody,
it sure is.
One of those 9 languages, you know, put your phone number on it and give out a couple of them.
So yeah, share this DVD. I mean, Thanksgiving, get this DVD out, show your family this DVD, let them see this. But you can find it on drjwallach.com. It's called Dead Doctors Don't Lie and the Truth About Nutrition. And folks, let's just back up here. You know, Dr. Wallach said at the very beginning that, you know, minerals in our food aren't the same as they used to be. And I just came across an article, and I think it was the Weather Channel that put it out. But they were trying, you're going to find this hilarious, Dr. Wallach. They were trying to, they said that the nutritional value of food has been going down now for decades. Truth. That part of the story is the truth. The nutritional value of food has been going down now for decades. We've known that since 1936, 37, when the Senate issued, when the Senate issued that document. But here's what they said was causing it. Okay. Now, some of you out there, you had a little biology background and you understand that this is a total lie, but they're counting on the masses of population that have no idea. They said that global warming, the excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, was causing the mineral and vitamin content of the food to go down. Folks, plants use carbon dioxide like we use oxygen. If there's no carbon dioxide, plants die. Like if we have no oxygen, we die. In fact, because of this so-called increase in carbon dioxide, we're finding areas where the rainforest and so forth are thickening. You know, areas where we're not touching it, they're thriving. And it's because the excess carbon dioxide is making these plants do their job to create oxygen. They breathe in carbon dioxide, they breathe out oxygen. We breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide. So this whole thing saying that the excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is causing these plants that we're eating, these fruits and vegetables that we're eating, to have less nutrition is bullock science. And they know that the vast majority of people out there have no idea that a plant breathes carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide does not hurt the plant in its ability to produce, the vitamins that a plant produces, the phytonutrients that it produces. The thing that's causing the problem is what Dr. Wallach alluded to in the very beginning. We haven't changed our farm practices whatsoever over the decades. The farm soils are continuously being more and more depleted of the nutrients. If the mineral is not in the soil, then that mineral is not in the plant. So any animal that eats that plant is then minerally deficient as well. So our food source, the minerals, the plants, as well as the animals that we eat for food, both are lacking the nutrients that they had 100 years ago. They're both lacking the nutrients that they had when Jesus walked the earth. It's been steadily going down because we do not supplement the farm soils with the minerals. And that's why I am now on a new crusade to try to get, all these things that Dr. White talks about, the bone and joint program and all that, none of that's going to do any good if you can't convince the people that they need something. Start them off with the minerals. Okay? If you got a stubborn person that doesn't want to listen to you, start them out with the minerals. Tell them to take it for 30 days and then report back to you how they feel. In fact, have them do the health evaluation before they start the minerals. Get them on the minerals. You can get it lots of different ways. It comes in these little mineral sticks now, which is very convenient. You just dump it in your bottle of water. You can get the original cherry mints and strawberry kiwi mints and just plain minerals. You can get the mineral capsules. There's lots of ways to get them. So have them take the health evaluation, get them on their minerals, and then 30 days later, have them take the health evaluation again. Let's see what happens. And I guarantee you that I don't care if they've got gluten problems or what they got, just getting the extra minerals there into their diet every day, they're going to see some improvement. And then they might be a little more willing to listen to you, that you have the answer for their other problems that they're suffering from. Right, Dr. Wallach?
That's correct. That's correct. It's one of those things to understand that we cannot manufacture, for the most part. We do have the ability to manufacture a little bit of vitamin C out of our adrenal glands, but that's about it. And it's minimal, not enough really under these days of stress. But we don't have any capacity to manufacture minerals. We do require minerals from the environment. And this is very dramatic, very dramatic. And so farmers know that. I mean, they can't afford to have the veterinarian out to the farm every day to treat the cows and the sheep and the pigs and llamas and wombats and chickens and turkeys and ducks and geese and so forth. Otherwise, you'd have to pay, $50 for a steak. It's kind of getting there right now. I think T-bone steaks right now are running about $18 a pound.
Just imagine what they would be.
Yeah.
Folks, go to Tractor Supply. If there's a Tractor Supply in your area, go to Tractor Supply and ask them to show you the mineral blocks that they give animals. And those blocks are not just salt. They actually say minerals on there, and they actually list the minerals that are in those blocks. And there's not a veterinarian out in that field telling that cow you can only have 3 licks on that mineral block. There's not a veterinarian out there telling the thoroughbred horse that's worth $1 million that you only get 3 licks on that mineral block. The animal knows, their body knows. It craves the minerals, it licks that block until it gets the minerals that it needs. And that's what's going on with us. A potato chip company came out with a potato chip, and their slogan was, I bet you can't only eat just one. You know why they said that? Because they knew you are minerally deficient. They put salt on that potato chip, because salt's a mineral. Your body's craving minerals. You're going to eat a bunch of those chips. You're not going to solve your minerals cravings because all you're getting is salt. But you're going to eat a bunch of those chips, and they knew it. And they knew they would sell millions and millions and millions of dollars of those potato chips with that slogan. I bet you can't eat just one.
Yeah, it was very smart on their part, because sodium chloride is required by your stomach to make hydrochloric acid, your stomach acid. Okay? And so when a doctor says, oh, don't use salt because it'll cause high blood pressure, that doctor should have his license taken away and he should be put in jail for 3 lifetimes.
Mm-hmm. You can tell I'm passionate about this, Dr. Wallach, after seeing all these sick people, going to all these different locations and talking to the customers. I saw lots
of dead people, and so they're all dying from nutritional deficiencies.
And me just seeing it in my own practice now, how much sicker the world has gotten. We're the richest richest country in the world, and we're sick. We're not the best in the best health of all the countries in the world. There's lots of countries that are more healthy than us.
Yeah, it's because we for healthcare than all the countries in the world put together combined. Yet we're the sickest. Our life expectancy doesn't meet that of most of the other large countries.
It doesn't meet what it should be based on our financial output in healthcare, and it all comes back to nutrition. And the doctors, they don't look at the root cause. They look at what they specialize in. I specialize in diabetes. I'm going to look at the pancreas. That's all I'm going to look at. What's the pancreas doing? They're not looking at, well, why can the body not absorb that sugar? Why is it the body can't handle it? Are you deficient of strontium and chromium and the other rare earth minerals that are required for the body to do that? Minerals are we don't actually, other than calcium and some things like that, most of the minerals, all they do in our body is drive chemical reactions so the body can do what it's supposed to do. So, it takes a different salt.
You're trying to say they're not structural like calcium is.
Right. So they're there to be used for other processes in the body to work, for your hormones to work. And Dr. Wallach mentioned a minute ago, our bodies make different vitamins. We make vitamin D, but you know what it takes to make vitamin D? The vitamin D that our body, the active form of vitamin D, is called cholecalciferol. You know what it takes to make cholecalciferol? It takes cholesterol and it takes sunshine. Oh my gosh, you better not go out in the sun. You better cover your body in zinc oxide so you don't get any sun ultraviolet rays. And Even worse, don't eat any eggs, guys. And take the statin drug. We got to get that cholesterol down to almost zero, because that cholesterol is going to kill you.
If you eat, quote, healthily, unquote, and you eat buckwheat, because buckwheat has a phagopyrium in it, guess what? You're not going to be able to utilize your nutrients, okay, because it kills your body's ability to do that. And those buckwheats in the same category as wheat, barley, rye, and oats. They're killer grains. Don't take them.
Yeah. So there's just so many things that's wrong right now. And over the next few weeks, we're going to talk more and more about these things. If you go back on our past shows, you can see where we've talked about it. But I do have a new passion now after seeing how sick society has really gotten. And I'm on a new mission now. And we got that CD set coming out soon. I know that it's at the publishers right now. They're working on the final versions of it. I think they're going to be sending the final version to Dr. Wallach for him to review. And the artwork is the last thing to be done as soon as they give me the dimensions that I need for the artwork. So that's going to be out soon. Get this Truth About Nutrition set. It comes with the CD, it comes with the DVD, and it comes with the book. This is basically the Dead Doctors Don't Lie of the 21st century. So I highly encourage you to get that. And drjwallach.com. I don't make a penny off the recommendation there. I'm not selling these books. I don't sell any of Dr. Wallach's books. All the proceeds from the sale of Dr. Wallach's books and CDs and DVDs go to Dr. Wallach. And I encourage you, you can find some of this stuff on Amazon, but I encourage you to go straight to Dr. Wallach's website, drjwallach.com, because why in the world do you want to give Jeff Bezos part of Dr. Wallach's profits? Let's support Dr. Wallach completely on this. The prices are the same whether you go to Amazon or you go to Dr. Wallach's store. So let's support Dr. Wallach. Let's not support Jeff Bezos on that one, folks. Let's give all the proceeds to Dr. Wallach. Shop directly with him. Let's get into some questions. I've been ranting long enough, and Dr. Wallach, well, I'm sure there's some questions because I've had lots of people wonder when we're coming back.
Okay, well, thank you for the message, Pharmacist Keith, and let's go to callers.
Absolutely. All right, if we have any Bobby Knight, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, thank you, Pharmacist Keith, and welcome back. We really missed you. We really missed you a lot. And Dr. Wallach, I have a question for you. Dr. Wallach, what are the best ways to take the healthy start packs or whatever you need per body weight? What's the best ways to take it, and what times to take it with Dr. Wallach?
Okay, the Healthy Start Pack is our basic program. It has the 90 essential nutrients in it, 60 minerals, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. And I like to take one Healthy Start Pack per 100 pounds of body weight. So if you weigh 110 pounds or 90 pounds or 80 pounds, you take one Healthy Start Pack per month, divide it in half, take a half a dose of everything at breakfast and half a dose of everything at dinner time. If you weigh 130, 40, 50 pounds or more, I would take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Or if you have like 10 different diseases, you got high blood pressure, you got diabetes, you got arthritis, you got dental problems, you have all kinds of bowel problems and so forth. I would go, and you're on dialysis, I would go with the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, which has 215 nutrients in it. Okay, the core is still the 90 essential nutrients. That's what I take. I only weigh 142 pounds. I take 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs per month, take a full dose twice a day. And then for everything from your heart valves, which are connective tissue, and your cartilage and ligaments and tendons, the skin, and so on, you want to take 2 bottles a month of the MSM. So you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. That's the raw materials to rebuild cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue. Then you also want to take 2 canisters a month of the collagen peptides, which is collagen from fish, poultry, sheep, and beef. I take a scoop of that at breakfast, a scoop of that at dinner time. So you're going to need 2 canisters. It'll be like 10 days short if you don't take 2 canisters a month. And then you also want to take the Beyond OsteoFX and, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack has the, what should I say? It has the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in it, okay? It's our big multiple. And then, of course, the Beyond OsteoFX, okay, comes also in a powder, easy to put in your drink. And then the big one when it comes to connective tissue and joints and heart valves, collagen peptides, okay, scoop of this twice a day. And these are things we used to have. Grandma used to make bone broth, okay? This is bone broth, okay? This is bone broth. But instead of having bone broth from just, say, cattle, this has bone broth from fish, poultry, sheep, and cattle, all right? And so this is the next generation of grandma's bone broth. So if you're old enough to remember grandma's bone broth, oh yeah, I just don't have the time to make it. Well, we've already pre-made it for you. And that's where I got the idea for making the collagen peptides is grandma's bone broth. I had it every morning and every night. And again, we didn't have any college education. Nobody in the family had any college education. It was all just grandma telling us what to do because we came from the Ukraine, and they're very famous right now. We came from Ukraine, and she brought all these various things that they used to do in the Ukraine to stay healthy to America with her when they came. Okay, back over to you.
Yeah, one of the things as a pharmacist too that really gets me excited, product-wise, actually two products that besides the minerals, is the tangy tangerine powder. I guarantee you will not find a more complete, at least I haven't yet, vitamin and mineral supplement than this. I mean, it's got all the 90 essential nutrients in it. It's got what's the word I'm looking for, Dr. Wallach? It's got all the phytonutrients from multiple species of plants in this. It's got things in there for your bone and joints that most likely you're not going to find another.
115 plants have been extracted to get the nutrients to put in there. 115 different plant species.
And the thing is that through this pandemic and through all the problems that the pandemic has brought as far as supply chain issues, they've not changed the formula on this. If there was ingredients they couldn't get, they didn't make it. So that did cause a back order on some of these products. But that's because the quality, they're so passionate about the quality on this, Dr. Wallach's son, Steve, that if he can't get the ingredients, most companies would just leave that particular ingredient out to get the product out there to make the sales. If he couldn't get what was supposed to be in a product, he put it on back order until he could get those ingredients in there. And that's another part of the integrity of this company that I enjoy. Again, as a pharmacist, this is extremely bioavailable. It's made, it's freeze dried, so it goes back into liquid very easily. And because it's made from the plant-derived colloidal minerals, it's very highly bioavailable. Bioavailable means it's available to your body for your body to use. And the other thing that I pair with that all the time now is the collagen that Dr. Wallach just mentioned, because we're all suffering from bone and joint issues. And not only does it have the 5 main types of collagen that are recommended now, it also has the fulvic minerals in it. So it's another source of some minerals for you and some digestive enzymes so your body can utilize the collagen appropriately. So it's not single ingredient products. It's all things that are designed to work together. All right, Sherry, you have a question.
I do, and I agree with my brother Bobby Knight. It's so good to see you guys back on the calls again. Question: when a person has the really bad sugar cravings in the morning, at night, I think that's pica, correct?
Yeah, that could be a variation of pica. You could be craving salt. You could be craving sugar. You could be craving your favorite candy. You could be craving soft drink. Any craving is called pica, and this is due to mineral deficiencies.
And a lot of times sugar cravings is even more specific to deficiencies of your omega fatty acids.
Mm-hmm.
Because our body associates ice cream and things like that because there's fats in them. So we mistake that maybe we're craving sugar when we might actually be craving the fat that's in the product. So you got to really look. Just because somebody says they're craving sugar, you got to find out exactly what the sugar is they're craving. Is it ice cream specifically? Are they craving milkshakes? May not be the sugar that they're craving. It might be the fat. Doctors tell us, stay away from the fat. It's bad for us. Got to stay away from the fat.
But it's candy. They eat a lot of chocolate. They eat cookies. They eat sugar in the morning, cakes in the afternoon.
We have very highly, what should I say, high quality chocolate products that are very low in sugar. Some of them we just put actually spices in there that are sweet, that we don't put sugar in there. And so we have some great chocolate. If you're into chocolate and you don't want the sugar, we have sugar-free chocolate products.
Okay.
And somebody told me a long time ago, if you're craving the sugar like that, take a swig of the Cherry Mints.
Yeah, Cherry.
You have a craving, just take a shot. It's not going to hurt you.
And of course, we have the salt, the seasoned salt from Australia. It's a sea salt from Australia, because right now we're back ordered on the Himalayan salt. So we have the seasoned salt from Australia. It's a sea salt from Australia that we add all kinds of herbs and things to it to get more minerals and things in there.
Dr. Wallach, I have a question for you. Dr. Wallach, this is Bobby Knight again.
Who is Bobby? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Dr. Wallach, if you were building the longevity business to help someone get off to a start, to work towards getting their products for free and everything, what would you recommend, Dr. Wallach, from scratch, if you was to teach someone to build their business, and what ages can they start at?
Okay, well, basically, I would start with your family and your workmates and your church mates, people you're in contact with on a regular basis. And you want to give them a sample, okay? So you have to become an associate, AKA a distributor yourself. And then as you do that, you want to give everybody a free sample. And it could be just 3 or 4 tablets in one of those little plastic bags with a Ziploc top. And of course, that's tax deductible because you're giving it away as a sample to grow your business. You also, as Pharmacist Keith pointed out, we have the book and the CD and the DVD called The Truth About Nutrition. If people have questions, you say, well, I'll loan you this set, okay? You don't have to give it to them, okay? We'll loan you this set because it'll teach you why you need to take these things. And if they have osteoporosis of the skull, or any one of those, or any mixture of those 37 different diseases, we have the book and the CD. It's all in your head, okay? And so there's a lot of information that people can take, and they can listen to while they're driving. They can listen to it with their families. We have the book Epigenetics. We have the book Dead Doctors Alive. We have the book Hell's Kitchen, which Hell's Kitchen I like because it goes through the transition from coal and wood as fuel to electricity, and what happened to our health when we made that transition from wood and coal as fuel, putting the wood ashes and coal ashes in our gardens, putting the wood ashes and coal ashes in our food. Suddenly now when we have electricity, we don't have those byproducts anymore to put in our foods. And doctors saying, don't waste your time and money on buying vitamins and minerals, just eat well. Okay, so you're getting hit from both sides now because of the change in the source of fuels.
And one other tool I would recommend if you are serious about building the business is the website from the Institute of Holistic Health. Now, let me share my screen here so you can see what I'm talking about. You can see my version of it by going to campaignfornutrition.com, but this website has links on here, hopefully you guys can see it, to Dead Doctors Don't Lie. It has links on here to Dr. Wallach's The Rest of the Story. It has a link to a video called The Audacity of Health by Dr. Wallach. So it's an excellent tool in this modern age where you can share this with you. There's a monthly membership fee to it, but it has all that. It even has a link to your back office, your store, so people can order products directly from you from that page. So that's a nice little tool that I use that I would recommend people take a look at as well.
Yeah, and that tells, can you still hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I hear you fine.
Yeah, the Dr. Joel Wallach story that goes into the beginning of the story where I got fired for finding and discovering the cause, prevention, and cure for the birth defect, cystic fibrosis, thought to be a genetic disease. That was my first mistake well, when I found the cause, prevention, cure for cystic fibrosis, they fired me from the Yerkes Primate Center. And over all these years, they've never sent me a letter saying, we're really sorry we did that 30 years ago, but they've never done that. But they really, really were very naughty. They fired me. My wife had just died. I had 4 little kids, and they didn't care. They just fired me because when I handed them my paper that I was going to have published, because you had to hand them the paper for them to review, and they just summarily fired me because they said, you have got to be smoking too much pot, Wallach, because everybody knows that cystic fibrosis is the classic example of a genetic birth defect in humans. No, it was a simple nutritional deficiency.
Okay. There you go. That's the rest of the story. All right. Do we have any other questions? We got just a few minutes left.
Yes, Bobby Knight again.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Go ahead, Bobby.
So the 2 that you have, the holistic help, that's good to share with people, as well as the nutritional book CD, and that's one of the best ways of doing it, you're saying?
Yeah, educate them. Say, I'm going to loan you this CD and book set. I'm going to loan it to you. If you want to buy it, here's the price, but I'm going to loan it to you. I want it back in 2 weeks because I have other people I want to loan it to. And so in the beginning, you loan it to them and say, if you want to buy it, here's the price. You can share it with your family, but you've got 2 weeks because I want it back. I'll be banging on your door to get my CD and my book back. And you can I'll answer any questions for you. And, leave them your card, with a sample maybe of something like one of those sticks of the Rebounder sports drink. It comes in sticks, 30 sticks in a box, or it comes 36 servings in the canister. We have cans of Rebound, but the cans, I like to pop them open the night before I drink them, put them in the refrigerator so the off gas, the carbonation at night, so they're flat in the morning, all the bubbly's gone. But these are the same formula. It's just that the powder and the sticks don't have the carbonation in it like the cans do. So the cans, I have to do the extra thing of popping the top that don't have the carbonation in them the next morning.
And they're so shareable, the sticks. I mean, this is the mineral sticks. This is basically the cherry mints that have been, I'm assuming, the same process, freeze dried down into the powder.
You just scotch tape that to your business card, and okay.
Yep.
And so this is
all right, Dr. Wallach. You are on the radio twice a day, every single day. Tell folks how they can reach us by radio.
Okay, Monday through Friday. This has been going on for 32 years now. Let's see here. First one is noon Pacific time, noon to 1 Pacific time. Dead Doctors Don't Lie. The telephone number is toll free, 888-888-379-2552. That's 888-379-2552. And then from 1 to 2, Monday through Friday, it's Let's Play Doctor. Okay. And that number is 877-912-PLAY. 877-912-7529. And it's one of those things where I've been doing this like almost forever, 32 years. And we do have all these various, like I say, I think I have over 100 CDs. I have over 50 DVDs, and there's bound to be one you might want to hear. But again, I think Pharmacist Keith did a good thing when he went to, we have the book and the CD and the DVD of The Truth About Nutrition. Don't forget the CD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. It's in 9 languages. And the book is in 2 languages. We sell so many of the Spanish people. I have one distributor who buys 1 case of the Spanish Dead Doctors Don't Lie books and 1 case of the English books every week. He just drives up and buys them a case of each language every week. And he's growing such a huge business, helping thousands of people every month with their health problems.
Absolutely. And folks, you can get the books at drjwallach.com. I've got that on the screen right now, drjwallach.com. And one more time on the radio, For those of us on the East Coast, that's 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 to 4 p.m., 888-379-2552. And you can listen to the archives of that radio show by going to radio.givedoc90days.com. And I have that on the screen as well right now, radio.givedoc90days.com. And finally, Let's Play Doctor is weekdays from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 877-912-7529. 877-912-7529. Dr. Wallach, I want to thank you very much for doing this. It's something that, again, I am passionate about. I've renewed my passion by seeing how sick people have been. And, we're going to do this every week. Same time now.
Pharmacist Keith, we cannot thank you enough for your insights, for your passion to help people. We respect you and love you for it. God bless you, and we'll look forward to next week.
Absolutely. And folks, I've got a free gift for you just for watching. I know I've said this before in the past, but if you go over to, hang on, let me share the screen again. There you go. If you go over to the website, dddlvideo.com, that stands for Dead Doctors Don't Lie, dddlvideo.com. You can watch the 2014 version of Dead Doctors Don't Lie called Someone Should Go to Jail. That's a video there of that. You can share it with other people. We don't ask for any information when you go to that website. It doesn't ask people to give their email or phone number or anything. It's free for everybody to use. And there's also a document there that you can download and print out called Why So Many Young Athletes Die. Again, that's dddlvideo.com. And thank you very much for sharing this information. And if you want to find out more about the products and more about Dr. Wallach, and I encourage you to reach out to the person that shared this with you, that shared this program with you, and ask them to get the information to you. If you found this on your own through Facebook or YouTube or wherever you might have found it, a podcast, then go to campaignfornutrition.com. You can learn everything you want to learn there about Dr. Wallach. If you want to learn more about me, go to askpharmacistkeith.com. And there's information there about me and my background. So thanks again, folks, for joining us. I'm going to have to jump off here. My new schedule puts me going to work here in about an hour. So need to get ready for that. Again, thank you, Dr. Wallach. Appreciate it so much. This is something that I look forward to every week, and I have missed it tremendously the last 2 months. So thank you.
God bless. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
God bless everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Health and Wellness Hour with Dr. Joel Wallach and pharmacist Keith Abell. If you found value in this episode, be sure to like and share. Also, to be notified when the next episode is posted, click on the subscribe button, then hit that little bell symbol. If you have any questions or comments for Pharmacist Keith or Dr. Wallach, you may send a private email to askpharmacistkeith@live.com or by visiting the Facebook page, Give Doc 90 Days to Better Health, Wellness, and Longevity. To hear more from Dr. Wallach, he has 2 nationally syndicated radio programs daily, Dead Doctors Don't Lie and Let's Play Doctor. Check your local radio listings for details. Also, check out the archives of his past shows at radio.givedoc90days.com. One last thing, if you'd like to join Dr. Wallach's crusade to share his message with others, contact Pharmacist Keith, and he'll teach you how to share the message and create some extra income at the same time. Contact Pharmacist Keith through his email address, keith@prosperityRx.com, or call or text at 502-212-2929. Remember, Keith is still a practicing pharmacist and can't always pick up the phone right away, so leave your name, number, and best time to call, and he'll return your call as soon as possible. Thanks again for tuning in.